Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Untold. Now, if you're curious about all health-related topic, we have an amazing conversation for you. But of course, before we get into all of that, I'm your host Abdullah Hindiani.
And I'm your host, Regina Al-Athari, and today we're joined by Andrea Briceño, who's a holistic health coach and movement therapist. And I think it's really interesting to hear about a personal trainer and a person who's in fitness who's also working in a more holistic approach, which I'm curious to learn about.
I'm curious to know about, especially in recent years when I've gotten more into, I would say, trying to remain a very healthy lifestyle. Whenever we do have these guests who are within the health industry, right? Within these kind of industry that help you understand your body more, understand your health more, understand how to keep you fit in a longer time. I'm always curious to have this conversation with them.
Me too. And Andrea is also all the way from Costa Rica. So I'm very, very interested to hear about how her journey took her all the way from beautiful Costa Rica to lovely Kuwait to help the fitness of the people in the country. So stay tuned.
We're back from the break, ladies and gentlemen. Now I do want to welcome our guest, Andrea Briceño. I think I got it right.
Yes, you did.
On the Untold tonight. So thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. And you're from Costa Rica, which is pretty far away, I must say. So I do want to ask you, what was it like growing up there? Can you tell us a bit more about the customs, the food? How was it like there?
Well, Costa Rica, it's beautiful. That's the first thing I have to say. It's top rated as one of the most interesting countries to visit due to our diversity and our nature, basically. So growing up in there, it's very free. You're surrounded by nature the whole day. You spend most of your time outdoors. So life is much more easygoing, more slow, more chill, more relaxed. And you really spend a lot of time outdoor doing activities. We have different microclimates, so it's easier to go in from the capital, the city, to go in, for example, to mountains, volcanoes, beaches, rivers. Yeah, like easy access, and you can just drive there for 1 hour and, disconnect from your stressful life, whatever you're doing. So it's really nice. You wake up in the day, the air is fresh, the smell of the soil is different, the food is different, because the soil is more nurtured, it's more healthy. So definitely, I don't trade my my childhood. Definitely. Yeah.
Can you tell us more about, what was your lifestyle like when you were in Costa Rica? Like, your daily, you wake up, how's your day going?
Well, you wake up and you go to work, for example, but that's, I think, one of the biggest benefits of living in Costa Rica. Even though like you have for example, a stressful job, or you spend all day sitting in a desk or doing like your job and whatever, at the moment you step out of the office and you go outside and you are surrounded by this much of nature. There is, like, imagine, like, just green everywhere, mountains behind, buildings, blue sky, clouds. So it disconnects you completely, and that vibe, you can feel it, you can sense it in your life. It helps you to relax more and to be like more calm, more chill. We have a saying in Costa Rica, and I guess if you are a Costa Rican and you are in any other place in the world and you hear someone saying pura vida, it's because we say this word for everything. You can say it for saying hello, thank you, whatever you want to say, you say pura vida. You know you're a Costa Rican because that word means good life. And it really is. Like, I can just say, like, if you have the opportunity to travel, you will understand and you will see it for yourself. A lot of people who travel to Costa Rica and they're foreigners, they usually, they want to stay. Yes.
How do you say the word? Is it
Pura vida.
Pura vida?
Pura vida.
I'm going to start saying that and see if I think I'm Costa Rican now.
Yes.
Good luck to the translator, the Untold, with that one.
Yeah, no, honestly, like, I have a cousin who went to Costa Rica and she loved it there. She said it was one of the most beautiful places she's ever been to. The nature, the way that the community works with the land as well.
Right.
It's like, it's unimaginable, she said, unless you go and experience it. So I'm very jealous because I love nature, I love trees, I love the idea of being able to kind of take a break from your life and just immerse yourself in nature. It does sound like it was just something that really helped, I think, calm your mind, allow you to maybe choose your life as well, because I know that you're also very interested in health and fitness. So is that always a part of your life, or is it something that you chose later on?
Well, fitness is being involved in my life. I think not just that I encounter sports at a very young age, but it's because as a kid growing up in Costa Rica, in a place like the way I grew, you're outdoors all day, like playing, running, climbing, you know, just doing agility stuff, speed, strength. Like kids, the way the kids they actually supposed to play is just part of your childhood. So that introduced me to later on in when I became a teenager, introduced me to sports. That's where I found my ground, my base, solid base into sports. That later on in life, I carried it with me, but at the same time, in a education way, I always felt a lot of interest for science. So my university degree, I studied nursing, and I worked for 10 years back at home in hospitals. Okay, so it showed me a lot of the two sides of the health, how sports, movement, and being healthy was like a big part of staying away from all these chronic disease conditions, and how to maintain a healthy lifestyle, which is, I think it's just a few steps that you need to follow through life. And it has a lot to do as well, the place where you're at, where you grow, your surrounding, the environment, what you eat, nutrition, sleeping, recovery, like simple things that we maybe as humans, we take for granted. But that's just foundations, is the base. And as long as you can maintain that on track, yeah, and you will stay healthy, for sure.
And mashallah, people overestimate the amount of changes they need to do in order to have a healthy lifestyle. I mean, honestly, there are so little changes you need to do in your daily life to be considered healthy. Now, of course, you know, here on the Untold, I think we have you for the holistic health, you know, which is, I think it's a topic that I've heard a lot, but as someone that doesn't know a lot about, you know, say health-related, you know, topics, what is that? And how does it, you know, compare to, you know, what we know about well-being?
Okay, I'm glad that we can talk about this. When we talk about the term holistic, is that you need to see the person as a whole, in their whole environment, in their whole aspects of their lives, not just when they come for the gym. Because usually people, when they attend to the gym, is for like one or two reasons. They feel like they need to lose weight, right? Either for health purposes. Someone told them, okay, you're overweight, you need to lose weight, you need to do something about your life because you're starting having disease, chronic disease, diabetes, hypertension, or obesity. This is leading to something else, or they just become aware of it, or simply they just, you know, I want to look better. Okay, but the fact that you want to reach to that point when you go to the gym and then you want to be fit and being considered as a fit person involves a lot of things. And the time that you spend at the gym is like 20-25% of what you're doing in your 100% daily life. So you're not really seeing that the rest of your day and how you manage the stress, how you sleep, how you recover, what are you eating, okay? Is that food being medicine, nurturing your body? Is that food related to your genetics, to your biochemistry? Is it related to many aspects? How is the quality of the food that you're eating? Is it organic? Is it full with pesticides, chemicals? Is this creating more stress into your body and the whole five system that controls the body? Is the training, how is being the training for you? Did you have an assessment before starting to working out? Did you know that your posture was not the correct one? This is holistic training. You need to go and see beyond, okay? And especially people, there's a lot of people who want to go to the gym even for emotional issues, okay? And this is as well it will create impact in their life and how they manage all of this, because training has so many benefits in a very wide radar for your life, okay? And I think the way that people use it and they take it and they think it's going to resolve everything to training as well, it's not just, they're missing a big portion of it, okay? It's part of it, but it's not the whole solution to it. So that's holistic training. You need to see and understand people's mentality, people's behavior, people's nutrition, people's recovery, how they sleep, how much stress they have in their life. Because at the moment that you create a programming for the person, okay, you might as well, you might be creating more stress into their lives. And this will affect all these 5 systems in the body that they control themselves, and they're linked to each other. And then if you alterate one of them, it might create a catastrophe or like cascade of other symptoms in their bodies. So that's basically what we're doing with holistic training.
And when you put it like that, it's so interesting, because I think a lot of people, like already, as before Abdullah said, a lot of the basics of health people kind of neglect. They focus mainly only on intense workouts or dieting or this or that, but sleep, stress, the type of food you eat, as you said, it's all part of a whole. And a lot of people forget that it's not always about how hard you push yourself, but about how well-rounded you are, how balanced your internal system is.
Correct.
So it's really cool that you're able to kind of narrow it down in a way so that your client kind of gets the best of all the worlds. And you said you started as a nurse, so you're always interested in science, in health, but what drew you to holistic coaching specifically? Like, why is that what you chose to do?
Well, I chose holistic training for, maybe I didn't choose it in the beginning. When I was working as a nurse, at the same time I was coaching, okay? I was doing mostly coaching people in CrossFit. I was coaching people in like functional classes, Then I continued doing that. I quit from nursing, okay? And I wanted to focus on one single thing. Then I stood only coaching. And at the moment that I did that, I started paying more attention in how people's were moving. When you want them to execute certain movement, doing certain exercises, how their bodies were moving, how their spine were moving, why their head was placed in that position, why you cannot fix that. So I started like wanted to know more. I just was in the seek of knowing more, understanding more how the body biochemically or biomechanically function. Okay, that's how I wanted to have more knowledge so I can be a better coach. I can give a better service to the people that I was seeing, how to prevent injuries. Like if I give an exercise to someone, for example, and they were in risk of an injury, I didn't want to make it worse. I wanted to know how to fix things. So that introduced me in my studies to go beyond. This is created by Paul Chek, one of the greatest founders of holistic training. He has his own academy. And besides all the studies that I did before, I continue my studies with them. And their way of training is very based on biomechanics. It's based as well in physiotherapy, and is based as well in holistic training, putting everything in together, how the systems controls the body, how all of this is integrated to each other, and how you cannot separate it, okay? And it gives you this insight, and it gives you this more awareness that you are just not helping someone in a way of just making them look good. You want to create an impact in their life for them kind of to awake, right? And to understand that everything comes first from inside to outside, and how they can manage all of these things at the same time. And basically how you can have a healthy lifestyle that necessarily doesn't mean that you have to look bulky. Yeah. But you have to look big, and you have to have like the lowest percentage of fat within your body. No. It goes beyond that. It's basically how you can be healthy from here in your body and from inside as well, and how to manage your life basically, and to continue, just performance, and to have a normal life, and to be healthy, and to stay away from diseases and stay away from injuries. And yeah, I found it pretty cool.
I mean, it is honestly very cool. It's an amazing approach to training, because I remember the only time that I approached a trainer, and this was like maybe 10 years ago, I didn't like the experience, and I didn't continue with him beyond the first day, because when I went there, he was like, do exercise 1, do exercise 2, 3, 4, and then he went to the other client. So if I went to someone with the same kind of approach that you're describing, right? Taking the biometrics, taking my functionality, taking my mentality, taking everything, I would have 10 years later, I'd have still been with that same trainer. So I do love this approach to training. It's amazing. The concept itself, the way you're talking about it is for people in the health industry, it's such a life changer. With that being said, we are going to take a very quick break after this one.
And we're back from that short break. So Andrea, we were just discussing, your holistic coaching, which me and Abdullah are really very intrigued by. We think it's a really great way to approach training and physical health. But I do want to ask you, what brought you to Kuwait? How did you end up working here?
Well, life, the opportunity presented itself for me. Do you want to work in Kuwait? And I'm like, but when I first came, I didn't came to work just in holistic training. In that moment, my approach was more into performance, just because in that moment I used to do a lot of CrossFit. Okay, so my approach was more like into what they call fitness, perform, be agile, fast, strong. But I knew like all the good benefits that training can give you, and I wanted to bring the same energy and approach to in a different region and to have the experience of travel somewhere else. I don't know, maybe you can call me crazy and I'm a riskful person, and I was just like, go for it, Andrea, go to somewhere else. But and I found it like, why not? It can be like a nice experience, even though I never thought it would be for like, or maybe I thought it would be just for a small amount of time, maybe like 1 year and that's it. And then I will come back with experience. I can learn new things, introduce these new things to my people again. And then, but definitely life is a journey. It has, you you can plan one thing and then God has another plans for you, and life can go into, different directions. And so far it's been 6 years and I'm still here.
Oh, mashallah, that is quite an amount of time.
Yeah.
So you love it here, I'm guessing.
Well, honestly, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the opportunity. I'm grateful that I came here because it helped me to grow in many aspects, not just personally and professionally. It opened me the door and it gave me the chance to study, especially to have the income, to study, to grow more and to provide more. And I think that just helped me through in my life's journey, because it's important that you have a purpose in life. And I always wanted to combine like all my training experience as an athlete, because I'm an athlete. I was an athlete. You will always be an athlete, even if you don't compete. But yes, I wanted to combine my experience that I had as an athlete, that I'm a good coach as well, and to have the science on my side, and just to incorporate all of this together in this, this big pole, and just to help others, basically, because I feel like that's life. If you don't live to serve others, then what do you do? Like you're useless. It doesn't matter. Like serving doesn't have to be seen as something, like you're a slave to something. No. Like you're providing a service. And to me, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm a little high expectancies, but that's the way I am. I like whatever I do it, I like to do it just at the top, basically. So, and I'm grateful, honestly. Being here, it has opened my eyes to different cultures, different backgrounds, to see how people are different in many ways, and how their lives and their genetics as well. It's
interesting.
It has, yes, how their genetics, their life, their backgrounds, everything as well. It has this difference in how their body as well can absorb the way of the food, for example, differently. How impacts their food differently, how their genetics, how they can, yes, this is the whole thing. Because if you're from someplace, and I felt it for myself, I'm from a tropical country, my genes are completely different, the temperature of where I'm living from was completely different, and then coming to the completely crossing half of the world and coming to this region with a different environment, different nature, different heat, different food, my gut was not prepared for it. Okay, so adaptation, we're evolving. Always remember that the body adapts, we humans, we can adapt. So it's very interesting. I always like to see things from a scientific way anyway, but yeah, and I'm grateful for the experience overall. Honestly, it had helped me to continue my life's journey so far, and I grow a lot.
Alhamdulillah, we're also happy to hear that you have had a very pleasant experience here in Kuwait, and hopefully for many years, ahead.
Inshallah.
Now, I do want to ask you about, speaking about your journey has led you to helping people in their journeys as well, especially when it comes to their health-related journeys. Now, when talking about your clients, are they very fit people? Are they athletes? Are they ordinary people? Are they people who are just seeking, treatments? Can you speak more about the kind of clients you do work with?
Sure. Most of my clients are people that are in pain. Most of my clients that are people that they are looking for change their lives, that they are aware their health is not the best, and they want to have a guidance. Most of my clients, yes, they have pathologies and they have injuries. That's what I see the most. And very few sometimes, because maybe they're more into fitness, maybe they're athletes, they go to the gym, they injured themselves, and then they come to me. Well, the clinic, and then they come to me, right? They have to go first through the doctors and the physiotherapists. And that's where I come in, right? Because the same as doing too much in the gym as not doing anything at all is exactly the same. Right? And this is the majority of people that I see. They don't understand that maybe they just go to the gym, and the first thing I ask them, okay, what do you do to activate your body, to warm up, or you just go directly into machines? Do you do only machines? Do you do free weights? What kind of training do you have? What kind of programming do you follow? How is the intensity? How is the volume? And training is a whole subject and topic by itself. Yeah. We would have to do another podcast just to talk about this. Yes, but that's what I'm trying people to make them understand and realize. Right? If you're new in the gym, in the training world, and you have no foundations at all, oh, no. You need time, you need progressions, you need to go very slowly, don't go crazy, you cannot lift it, don't lift it. You need to understand and to feel and to have proprioception, how your body is reacting to the exercise. What are you feeling? Your nerve system, how this will respond the next day, the recovery, it's many things. And most of the people, they don't understand. That is just the musculoskeletal part. And then people, maybe they don't even realize that a pain in their back, a pain in their shoulders, or in their hips is also related to the organs. It's related to internal things within their body. So yeah, that's basically the kind of patients that I see most of the time.
Well, that's so interesting considering that people have so many different problems. And I love how you said a lot about the balance. It's all about balance, that people are either doing too much or too little, and that's the problem, but they're not working with what's best for their body. But what would you say is the most common kind of injury or ailment that you see when your clients come to you?
Most injuries, shoulders and back.
Guilty.
Yes, because the joints are the ones that suffer mechanical stress. They suffer mechanical stress due to imbalances. They suffer mechanical stress because you have a lot of tightness and you have restrictions and you have a lot of weak muscles and you have a lot of muscles that are overacting. And maybe you go to the gym and you have no idea that the muscles that you shouldn't be actually working that much is the ones that are creating the problem. And that's the ones that you're overworking. Hello. So you get me? That's what I'm telling you. Like, training and be a trainer and going to the gym and prescribing exercises for a person is exactly the same as if you go for the doctor. And they prescribe you a medication for what? Exercise for what? This exercise, exactly what is the meaning of this? Why do I need it the most? Okay, there's got to be a balance in between the body and how the muscle chains of the body, they interact with each other, and how much prescription do I need this for the person? Okay, more exercise that flex the spine, more exercises that extend the spine. There's got to be a balance in between. And first you need to assist. If you don't assist the person, if you don't see that the person has good posture, correct alignment, then, okay, you are either putting the person in risk of injury, or you actually correcting the person, teaching them first, make them aware that your spine is in the middle, right? Your organs are in the middle, that everything comes first from the middle or to your extremities. Everything starts from the core. And from there, you can generate strength, power, and to outsource that. But it's a process, and you don't have to hurry, right? And I think you need to think that this body, it's a machine. It's a biological, mechanical machine, and it's gonna be with you for a long time, and you need to take care of it, right? So what's the rush?
It is, yeah. And I think people don't realize how, like you said, you mentioned before, how so many parts of the body are connected. Because it reminded me of one of my friends who had a leg pain or foot pain for so long, and he couldn't get a proper diagnosis. And then he went to one of the doctors, and he was like, "Oh, there's something in your back, nerves is affecting your leg." And then when they treated it, of course it went. And also for me personally, I had an arm pain for the longest of times, and went to the doctor. He says it's from your elbow. I was like, but the pain is here. It's like, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
The source is here.
Exactly.
So a lot of people don't realize how, one part of your body, if you train it wrong, the pain could be in completely different place, but the source, that's why, good technique, good training, good, instructors, good physiotherapists are all major part in all these recovery processes.
Right. You have to seek for this and for the source or the root cause of the problem. And the body, usually when you feel pain in some place, in some joint, it's because the source or the root of the cause is coming from somewhere else. This is just a symptom, but it's a symptom of what? Right, of what is happening. And we have many cases like this in the clinic. And I think like working with multifunctional or multi-integrated team, it's important, right? It's good to go to the physician, yes. It's good to have someone to help you to recovery as well from training sessions, yes. It's good, doctor, yeah, everything is okay, everything is good, as long as you know exactly that you're given exactly the right recipe for it. That's basically.
Honestly, that's such an amazing point. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have left, but I want to thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing us your amazing journey, as well as this kind of more whole approach to health and how interconnected the body really is, which I'm sure audience members will love to learn about. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And with that, stay tuned for after the break. And we're back from that wonderful episode. And honestly, Abdullah, talking to Andrea was so refreshing because she really blew my mind about how people approach their everyday health, the holistic side of things, being a more well-rounded approach. It's not just about pushing yourself in the gym all the time. It's about focusing on your sleep, your habits, your mental health, your stress. I love the idea of approaching it from a more whole way.
It is, yeah, and I think that's a very key takeaway for the audience out there from this episode is that, focus on your health, like I said, on a whole, entirety. Your health is about your body, about your mentality, about the things you do, how you eat, how you train, how you deal with everything. So I do hope the audience have had a great episode, but that's it from us here. Until next one, goodbye for now.
Goodbye and see you next time.